Alrighty, what is going on, guys? Welcome to another Resi DC3 Pro training video. Today, we're going to take a look at Resi's new UI. If you don't know what a UI is, a UI stands for a user interface. So, Resi, I remember the last time I did a video, Resi had a different UI, and it changed its UI not too long ago, maybe a couple months ago. So I want to dive into what this UI looks like because it's not very complicated, um, but it will affect obviously where you find things and how you find the scheduling, your videos. So let's just go through a couple of these things, especially because I want to get to showing how you would schedule a Resi service. So like our 9:45, our 8, 9:45, and 11:30 services. Um, so yeah, let's go ahead and dive right into it. So first of all, when you open up studio.resi.io, that's the new URL. You're going to see a page that opens your dashboard. It's going to ask you to log in first, so make sure you put in your information and all that fun jazz. See if I can get it to do it. Nope, it'll just take me right to the window. So when you log in, put in your login information and all that fun stuff. You're going to open up, and the page is going to pull you up to your dashboard. So as you can see, you've got your encoders. We have a single encoder for the church. We have our calendar here, live upcoming services. You can see Wednesday through Tuesday. Thursday is with the red dot that shows that there's a scheduled event, which is our Thursday night rehearsals that we record for playback and for monitoring for like myself or Mr. Denver likes listening back to our mixes. Um, Friday, you see Friday through Saturday. You see there's nothing scheduled on Sunday because we wait to do scheduled events. So we'll get to that in just a second. So as you can see, you can go ahead and right underneath, you can add an event if you wish. You have your current month bandwidth, which that's not very important. Venues and decoders. Obviously, we have two other decoders. Northport is currently inactive. We have it. It is available to be used if you so wish to activate it, but currently it is not active. So it will obviously not be in use. And then if you come up to the top left, we're going to go next to, and you're going to see our media tab, a schedule tab, an analytics tab, and also a settings tab. So we're going to go ahead and move to the media tab. And when you open this up, you'll see a bunch of web videos, and you'll see the 11:30 here, 9:45, and 8 o'clock. These are all of the past three services. You'll see the rehearsal from this past weekend, and then you'll see last weekend's or the week before this past weekend's services. Those expire in 5 days. You'll see they all have expiration dates. This expires in 24 hours, and then these expire in the next 12 days. And so when you come into the library, this is nothing important because we don't use Resi's content library, which they would store things inside of Resi's cloud database. We don't use that service, so this is irrelevant. If you ever do decide to use the service, it's there. They store all your Resi encoder videos. Anything would go and be stored in there. So you have web videos. We just talked about that. Encoder videos. These are the encoder, so what differentiates an encoder from a web video is the encoder is what runs the entire time, right? So we start the encoder video. It should be around, let's see where our start time is. So you see it's a 6.5 hour long video, right? Because that's the consistent running throughout the day. So if we look here, you'll see this is rehearsal, and then you've got our services throughout the entire recording, all three. This is just a continuous run, and a web video is created from this encoder event, if that makes sense. So basically, a web video just says, hey, you're going to play this part of the encoder. You're going to go live here with the encoded video, and you're going to play the encoder at this specific time, and then you're going to stop the web video, but you're not going to stop the encoder. And then the next service, the web, what service is 9:45 service, will start at that point on the encoder, and it'll still constantly running. If that's confusing enough, that's okay. That's a little more in-depth conversation. But you see, when you come to your encoder video, you have details, you have cues. You can create cues. We used to do this for Northport for them to be able to see where to start the message. And then you can monitor your audio levels from here as well. So we're going to go ahead and go back to the media. You can also see your recently uploaded videos if you're going to upload videos and show them online, which we have not done in a while. We will do that sometimes if you do like a pre-recorded service or something of the like, but we have not done that. So now we're going to go to the next part, which is the big part. This is the scheduling portion. So as you can see, it opens up to a calendar. Um, you can see all the rehearsals are a continuous event. You can also do a filter for a live, a replay, and a library. So we can just take those off because we're not looking for any of that stuff. You see August, I can skip through and see September and all that fun jazz. So this is going to be the important part of the tutorial here, and probably where we'll stop for the time being. And we can talk about something like the analytics at a later date. So in order to create a scheduled event, the easiest way to do this that we've been doing is duplicating our previous services events. So you couldn't do this with Resi originally. This is a great thing about the UI and something I appreciate that they did when they updated to Studio. They made the possibility for duplicating services. So what does that mean exactly? What does that look like? Well, what we're going to want to do is we're going to jump over to the calendar portion here. So when you come to schedule, you're going to see the past services. So what you want to do is I want to go ahead and press last weekend's, the 6th. I'm going to go ahead and open this up. So you see event calendar, event details, DC3 weekend service from the 6th of August. You see your watch, your details, content source, destinations, event logs, and all that fun stuff. So you can see that's all irrelevant kind of thing, but you see all 3 Resi events, all of our web events, and our YouTube events are all right here. So what we're going to want to do is you can see all the audio meters, you can see all the information, start time, 6:45. This is the encoder start time. So the encoder starts at 6:45. That's the encoder details. It starts on the Sunday service channel, expires in 3 days. And then you can add cues here for a timeline and all that fun stuff. So really, to the meat and grinds, the important part is you want to come over to where you see the D3 weekend service. You want to go to your right here, and you'll see a pen looking thing and 3 dots. You're going to want to select, sorry, not that. I'm going to cancel that. We're going to want to press 3 dots here. Now you'll see 2 options, duplicate and remove. We want to do duplicate. So we're going to go ahead and press the duplicate window. Now you'll see the details, event name. It's going to be called copy DC3 service or DC3 weekend service. We want to name that. We just want to get rid of the copy of. Come here, if it'll do that. Get rid of the copy of, and then we want to change the date to the 15th. Not 16th, 15th. So now we have our DC3 weekend service, 8/15/23. Event description, don't worry about that too much. It'll just autofill the date. The start time is going to be, we're going to change the start time to the, let's see, Sunday. Oh, I'm sorry, it's the 13th, not the 15th. We're going to change that to the 13th. So now you'll see the start date is 8/13. It starts at 7 a.m. The encoder will start at 7 a.m. and it will run for 6.5 hours, which is good. It starts till 1:30 because hopefully a service will not go past 1:30. If it does, that's very impressive. So, but you're going to see pause event, repeats. Don't worry about any of this stuff. That's all defaulted. Live encoder, yes, because it's a live event. So you want to make sure that you're on our encoder preset. You want to make sure you're at the 1080p. Then you want to make sure your encoder's channel is Sunday service. So the encoder will also start the live encoder stream 15 minutes before the event actually begins. So you basically have a 15-minute buffer to make sure everything's working before 7 o'clock in a sense. So now you'll see when I duplicate this, all this stuff, all of our YouTube, Facebook events get duplicated with it. So that way you're not having to go and add all the new things over again and create like 3 different events for YouTube, Facebook, and Church Online. So that makes that super easy. Um, Now, if you are having to go from scratch, and then we're just going to make sure you come over and save. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead a little bit. You got to make sure you come over, press save, and you'll see the next service is popped up, 8/13/23. So now you've got your service scheduled, um, and you're ready to go for Sunday. So now, let's say, oh, something happens, and oh, shoot, we don't have a schedule. That schedule's gone. What do I do? So you have the option to actually, if like the 20th, for example, if you can't find the 13th or something were to have happened on the 13th, you can always go back to one of these 2 services and duplicate these as well to get your correct times. Also, if you really do, hopefully this never happens, but you do need to make something by scratch, you'll want to come up to this add event channel. You're going to want to create the event name, which would be Sunday, Sunday service. Let's just do the date again, 8/13/23. 23? Yes. And then autofill the date or whatever. Just do, yep, insert that. Start date will be the 13th, 10:45, whatever. You'll do start time 7 o'clock, 7:00 a.m. Then you're going to do 6:30 duration, live encoder. Need to do Deep Creek. Make sure, yep, that's good. Start encoder 15 minutes. Now you have to, this is where the tedious part becomes. You got to add destinations. So we've got to come over, select the add destination, go to web, go ahead and press the web events. So you're going to want to go to Deep Creek web events, default. And then you're going to want to do, from here, you want to start the time around at 7:45, 15 minutes before service, right? And then we want to go to about an hour and a half is what we typically do allocated for service time. So we're going to do about hour 30 minutes. Then the next after that is good. You can also upload a thumbnail, which we like to do. We currently don't have thumbnails. We do like pictures. Thumbnails are just pictures and stuff like that. So after you create this, you go to, we got to go 9:15, 7:45 to 9:15. We're going to add that. So now you see that creates 7:45 to 9:15. So now we go and just do that again. We go to add destination. You do another one. You do, you do 9:30. So obviously 15 minutes before service, 9:30 to 10 or to 11. 11, let's see, 11 o'clock, 9:30 to 11. Let's give it a little buffer time. Let's do 11:05. We're going to select the web channel, Deep Creek, web preview default. And that looks good. Gonna add that, and so on and so forth. That's how, and then you'll do the same thing for the, well, that was the third service, actually. So now for Facebook, you got to come over, select the account. Obviously, it's mine, but that'll be changed in the future. You want to come down find the Deep Creek Community Church page. You want to go to the default web preset, public, published. You want to do a published. Then you want to do the same thing. Do 7:45 to 9:15. So again, I always look for about an hour and a half for service time. Just makes it easier on myself. Hour and a half. Add that. And then do the same thing for Facebook. Delete that. And then for YouTube, same thing, basically. Select the account, Deep Creek. You're going to want to make it a public video, schedule post before. We can do a day before the event. And then we're going to do, we'll do 7:45 and then hour and a half. Same thing. That way they all start at the same time. 8:23, community church, blah, blah, blah. Add that, and you can also upload a thumbnail if you so desire. Add that, and you've got it there. I'm just going to remove that because you don't need that. So if anything were to ever happen or you got to change service times, that's how you do it. And then you just sync up those service times. Or let's say, you're doing a later service. You can change the start time from the encoder to be, I don't know, 1 p.m. or something. Right? So you do 1 p.m., 6.5 hours, or however many you want at the same time. So that's how you do that. And yeah, that's how you would do a scheduling in a basic layout of the UI of Resi.